What is up, guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. Today we're here for the US Grand Prix in career mode, round number 18, I believe. We are absolutely smashing through this season. I can only say massive thank you to you guys for continually showing the support on these episodes. The last episode was something else in terms of support, so I can only say thank you for that. As you saw there before, that was the results screen of first practice. We went through all the practice programs, got 6th place. Couldn't actually pass the qualifying pace target again. It seems to be a bit of a trend for the last few races, but in terms of the track acclimatization, tyre wear test, I always seem to get perfect scores on those. It's often the one lap pace that seems to be lacking a little bit. So here we are for qualifying. As I've done the last few rounds, I opt to run with the harder compound tyre in the first run in order to just get my eye in, get a banker time in, and then when I come to the super softs, I'm going to run 3 laps of fuel on both sets to give myself the best chance to get up the order that I can. You can see the delta was something like 9/10 of an improvement in terms of potential from going from the soft compound to the super softs. So we'll have to wait and see how we go. This is our first run on the super softs now, halfway through the session, sitting P21 at the moment. But that was, of course, set on our soft compound tyres. So, as you can see here, already going through the first sector, we're green by over 3/10, coming to the middle sector now. It's over a second now, so this is definitely going to vault us up the order a little bit as, we're looking to really improve on this lap. I think we're 2 or 3 seconds off the pace from our first banker time, but this one is definitely going to get us up there through the penultimate and now the final corners here. Very easy to understeer through this one, so you have to turn in early, on the power early as well, open the DRS, and we go P12, which isn't too bad. Wehrlein, as you saw on the track map there, he's in P9, so he is looking very good in this qualifying session. Checkered flag has now dropped. We managed to get in one final lap here on this final set of super soft tyres. 3 laps of fuel, and we'll see how we go. We are 3/4 up on our previous best, so again, this should get us very close to the top 10, if not get us inside that at the back end of this session. Ricciardo is on provisional pole at the moment with the checkered flag dropped. Red Bull, if you didn't notice, have actually gone to the second quickest car, but meanwhile, in terms of this qualifying session, we end up in 13th place. So no overall improvement in terms of positions from my second lap to my last lap there. Pascal Wehrlein ends up in 11th there, so he's a few tenths in front of us, I believe. Maybe 1 or 2 tenths tops. But again, we've been bested by our teammate in qualifying. It's becoming a bit of a trend. Pascal is really nailing these single lap runs, and that's something we're definitely going to have to address heading into the final few rounds of this season, because that's something we want to be on top of when we get to Season 2, when we're going to be more competitive. So that's the end of qualifying, 1.9 seconds off. Ideally, I probably would be like to just be outside the top 10, because then you can have free choice of the tyres and strategy heading into the race. So the pace is okay, but as always, it doesn't matter where you start, so long as you have a good race, then anything's possible.
In 2012, America's on-again, off-again love affair with Formula One finally seemed to settle down with the completion of this wonderful racing facility here in Texas. Since then, we've been treated to some incredible races, including, of course, that classic wet-dry championship decider of 2015.
So here we are on the grid of the Circuit of the Americas. I remember when this track was made, a lot of people were saying that this is going to be like a track where it's going to be near impossible to overtake. Yet we've had some really good races here over the years, especially in 2015. Here we are starting in 13th place for this race. As we saw in the Japanese Grand Prix previously, we started from 15th. We managed to absolutely smash that last race. So I'm not going to get discouraged at all by starting a little bit down the order. So now it is time to get this race underway. 5 red lights for the US Grand Prix, and it's go time here in Texas. Looks like it was an okay start. I made an effort to make sure I modulated the throttle a little bit heading into turn 1. There's cars everywhere, oversteering into the path of Grosjean there. A Toro Rosso goes slowly, that's Kvyat, and he runs wide there as well. Rosberg has spun off the track there. I think there's contact. There's a safety car as well. Some things are happening. It's just absolutely mental. I've lost a position to Kvyat as well, by the way. And in that mad turn 1 kerfuffle, we've actually lost a bit of our front wing. It was on Kvyat, so we're going to have to get a replay up and just show you guys what happens. But first, we're going to jump into the pits, change our front wing, and also change onto the medium tyres, because we can't be running around with half a front wing once this race goes back to green flags. Bit of an unfortunate scenario there. Yes, we made up some decent time, but yeah, we have to change that front wing, otherwise we're going to be nowhere in this race. So into the pits now. It's going to be a slow stop. I'm thinking something like 10 seconds with the front wing change. We're going to be last, but in saying that, the guys on the straight there are going really slowly, really slow run through the final corner. They must have been going at a standstill. We rejoin on the track. It's P20. There's Rosberg right behind us. We just emerge in front of him, and I tried to be cheeky there and get in front of Palmer as well, but I'm going to have to give that place back to him. So it's P20 as we rejoin this race. Here's a replay of the start from the third person cameras. You can see it's a Red Bull 1-2 with Ricciardo heading the pack into turn 1. Hamilton got a nice start. He ventured to the inside there, so we'll focus on us as we blaze into turn 1 now. We got oversteer on the curb there. We managed to avoid Grosjean, but then we made contact with Kvyat. And there you can see, that was Rosberg. He made contact with a Ferrari. We'll have another look at what happened to Rosberg later, but this is us on board heading into turn 1. We slow it down. We try and, I don't know, we were a bit unstable under brakes as we went over the curb. Sent us into the path of, that was Grosjean. And then there's Toro Rosso. Just like goes straight on, goes really slowly, and I have nowhere to go but into the left rear tyre of him. I've lost part of my end plate, and yeah, we had to make that pit stop obviously. So this is the point of view of Rosberg. He goes into turn 1, there's a Mercedes on the inside of him, so that's Hamilton. He runs wide, and he's made contact with, that's Raikkonen again. So in Japan and in USA, 2 races in a row, Raikkonen and Rosberg have made contact, and as you can see with the wheel work there from Rosberg, he must, I think it looks like he was raging there, just weaving the wheel left and right there. So Rosberg spun off. I don't think he got any damage from that. He's just rejoined behind us on the super soft tyres as we get ready to rejoin in the action for this race on lap 4 now. Safety car pulls into the pit lane, and now we're on the attack once again. So we've got medium tyres on. We're buried down the order a little bit. It's always easy to overtake on the first few laps, so we've got to make full use of that while, you know, everyone's all bunched up and, you know, potentially saving fuel here and there. So it makes these overtakes much easier to perfect compared to, you know, the mid part of the race. Bottas completely jumped out of my way there, and that's a massive gripe I have with the AI that's hopefully going to get fixed for the upcoming console patch, which is going to be a massive one. So around the outside of, is that Ericsson? Yes, it is. The engineer told me he was having some issues. He was slowing down a little bit, so he was easy work for us. Lap 6 now, we're catching up to the back of Sergio Perez. He's in the slipstream of Gutierrez, the 2 Mexicans, so we got the inside of both of them in one foul swoop. That's Wehrlein, I was going to say Pearline, in P7, holding up a big gaggle of cars here. That's Sainz, Kvyat, and also Jenson Button. So this is essentially where we started, where we were in the race before the safety car was dragged out here. So we've made some really solid inroads in this initial 6 laps here, making use of these medium tyres. I can't believe I've actually made the progress that I have. I've just kind of, you know, gone aggressive, you know, ran with rich revs. We're running with quite a bit of extra fuel. We've got 3 laps in the reserve to just run in rich revs for the majority of this race. So I don't think saving fuel is going to be an issue here. Kvyat was on my inside there, by the way, heading into the final corner. He just pulled into the pit lane. The super soft runners are now making their stops in this Grand Prix. Daniel Ricciardo, the pole sitter, is now out of this race. Let's see what happened to him. He's all by himself. It must have been an engine retirement, and I'd almost hazard a guess to say that that won't be the last one of the race. We seem to have so many engine retirements in this career mode. It is absolutely ridiculous. Lap 7 now, we run wide onto the massive back straight there. Jenson Button doesn't need a second invitation. Takes my position, but as you can see, the lack of straight line speed from that Honda really not doing any favours there for Jenson, and we take him back just as easily. So lap 7 now, this is Sainz pulling into the pits. He's on the super soft tyres as well. So everyone who started on the super softs is now into the pits now, and that relinquishes myself, Wehrlein, and Sainz to move into the top 5. Oh no, it was Jenson Button behind me, not Sainz. So lap 10 now, we have another lock-up. Jenson goes up the inside there. It's wheel to wheel here through turn 1, and Jenson gets me back again, but Like we saw a few laps ago, it's going to be very, very easy for us to stay with Jenson and almost pass him again because our tyres are in better condition than Jenson's, but also we have the straight line speed advantage of the Mercedes, which we're able to, really just fly past Jenson without any real effort there, and we get back into P3. So now this is lap 10. The race leader.
Strategy change available to us. Would you like to keep to the current plan or try the new one?
Okay, we're getting an update for the strategy for us because I had to change my strategy going on to the mediums after the first lap. Looks like we're going to stop on lap 17 for new super soft tyres. I was just going to mention the race leader is Nico Hülkenberg on soft tyres, and I believe he's pulling into the pit lane right now, which is going to make this a Manor 1-2. Once again, Wehrlein now leads the Grand Prix, and it's only a brief 1-2 for Manor because Perez goes up my inside into turn 1, but we get him on the traction around the outside, and that's always a really good counter defensive move there to take back a position. So it's lap 13, sorry. We're still 1-2 at the moment. I'm still trying to, hold on to my position, run my own race. This is very similar to the scenario we had at Singapore, where I was really doing good things for my teammate Wehrlein, who was, in the lead and maintaining the gap to myself, pulling away by half a tenth to a second a lap, and he just made his pit stop on the previous lap there. So now it's Verstappen, it's Vettel, Hamilton, all battling for the lead of this Grand Prix. Verstappen pulled into the pits again because he went to super softs again for the middle stint, so it's looking like it's going to be a 2-stop for a lot of the leaders, where I think myself and Pascal were essentially going to do a 1-stop if you discount the pit stop that I did on the first lap. So it's lap 17 now. I'm going on to my super soft tyres to run to the end of the race. Hülkenberg moves into P2, and Wehrlein, by the way, just an update on him, he is only just behind the race leaders. So Vettel, Raikkonen, Verstappen, he's in amongst those guys. But just keep in mind, he doesn't need to make another pit stop for the rest of this race. So Wehrlein is going to be leading this Grand Prix in the final stint of this US Grand Prix. We rejoin on the track, and we emerge behind Hamilton. We emerge behind Bottas. It's going to be just in front of Palmer here, who still needs to make another stop in this race. Very crucial for our race that we managed to emerge in front of him there. So now this is lap 19. We're on the super soft tyres. Confidence is high at the moment as we overtake these guys on the medium tyres, which are much slower than the super softs that we're running at the moment. So we're going to absolutely smash past some of these guys. It was really rewarding to get in front of Bottas. He's been my overall career mode rival for like half this season, and every time he's beaten me. The one time I looked like I was going to beat Bottas, he managed to really get lucky and managed to draw that rivalry. So I took massive pride in getting in front of Bottas there. It's going to mean extra points for that rivalry. Carrying on now, this is Pascal Wehrlein still leading this race with only a few laps to go now. He's got Hülkenberg behind him, and also Max Verstappen, who is on the soft compound tyres. Wehrlein is on medium, so it's going to be awfully tough for Wehrlein to hold on to the lead of this race. He's not going to come in again, so it's going to be a straight fight between him and Max Verstappen to win the US Grand Prix. I got a podium in the previous race. Can Pascal do the impossible and win our first race for Manor? That'd be just absolutely incredible if he could pull that off, but I think the odds are slightly against him in this one. Lap 23 now, you can see this is Rosberg, who has had a terrible race, absolutely dreadful. I don't think his strategy has been too good either, because only now, with 4 laps to go, he's caught up to me, and he's only going to score fringe points in this US Grand Prix. Flies past us on the straight, as you'd expect from the works Mercedes. He's on the soft compound tyres, so he's got fresher tyres that are also going to look after themselves a little bit better, being a harder compound for the rest of this race. So we try and put up a fight there. We locked up, shoved him wide a little bit there, but Rosberg, with a better traction, really storms it around the outside there. Again, he left a little bit too much space. That's down to the AI just being a little bit too friendly with us before this major patch that's coming out in hopefully a few days' time. Jolyon Palmer is out of the Grand Prix now, and I'm going to guess that this is probably an engine retirement because there is absolutely no one around him. He's got real estate for days, and, well, he doesn't have the engine performance to really get him home for the final 3 laps. Very disappointing when you get so far into the race and you lose your engine right at the end there. Kevin Magnussen, just to add insult to injury for Renault, both their cars were out in the space of 30 seconds. Like I saw the announcement for Jolyon Palmer going out, and then Magnussen went out as well. I just could not believe it. Just unbelievable scenes for Renault there. They've had, what, 3 of their cars go. It was Ricciardo, then Jolyon Palmer retired, and then finally Kevin Magnussen. So it's not a good advertisement for Renault. They're literally going to have to pay their customers to run with their engines going forward into the 2017 season. Rosberg got in front of us once again, and I think this time he's going to hang on to that position. Nothing we can really do at the back end of this race with our super soft tyres really faltering in this Grand Prix, but we just have enough pace to keep Bottas behind us, crucially. For the majority of this race, we were really on the back foot after we lost our front wing, but to still, in a bad race, come away with 2 points is very, very satisfying. I'll take that.
Great drive. We're really happy with our performance.
So another fantastic victory for Red Bull today. Anthony, what do you think made the difference here?
Well, I think the track conditions just really suited their car today. Wind, track temperature, you name it. These cars come alive when the tyres are just at the right temperature. So the more easily you can keep them there, the better your race tends to go. And that's exactly what happened. Their car just looks so comfortable out there.
Well, I'm thoroughly exhausted after the excitement of that race, but I'm sure it's nothing compared to our drivers here. They've worked hard to make it up there, and it's great to see them make their way out onto the podium.
So there we go, guys. That has been the US Grand Prix for F1 2016 Career Mode. 9th place awards and 2 points to add to our championship campaign. Like I said, it was a bit of a compromised race for us. Damage limitation after that first corner where we lost part of our front wing. Had to make an early stop, run the medium tyres for the majority of that race, and to still come away with points, I will definitely take that. Had we had a normal race, we might have been up there with Pascal, although I probably think I helped Pascal in the end of the way that I went about with my race and kind of kept the leaders behind me for a good majority of that race. So I think myself and Pascal would have been looking at something like 7th place, 8th place. So overall, I don't think we would have gained too much points in the grand scheme of things, but overall, it was still a very good race for us. This is still, the first season for us where we're supposed to be a backmarker. We've managed to get ourselves to a point where we're very equal with Williams, right behind them in terms of performance, with our development ceased for the rest of this season. So, like, in the background, doing the Friday practice regimes, I've been building up that massive bank of resource points, and I tell you what, we are going to go on an absolute spending spree. Once those points get allocated back to us and we can start working on the car again, we're going to be a serious threat for Season 2, hopefully. Just depends on how much we, have in terms of the bank and how much the upgrades are going to be next season now that we're a faster car. So that's been this episode for today, the US Grand Prix. As you can see, things are fairly stable now in terms of the drivers and the constructors, so it's all about kind of carrying momentum into Season 2 and just trying to string together all these points finishes that we've got so far. I think it's something like 5 or 6 points finishes in a row now for this racing team. So that's absolutely awesome to see. And yeah, like I said, it's just confidence inspiring heading into Season 2. So thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed. And until the next one, guys, I'll see you next time.